Dear students, welcome to online class on unit number 2 of the syllabus, that is Industrial Policy of Government of India. In my previous video lecture, I explained about various industrial policy of Government of India. After having discussed about various industrial policies, that is Industrial Policy of 1948, 1956 and 1991, today let us discuss about another component of unit number 2 of the syllabus, that is regarding liberalization, privatization and globalization, popularly known as LPG in the form of abbreviation. LPG are integral component of new economic reform measures of 1991. You already know that the new economic reform measures of 1991 were introduced under the leadership of Sri P.V. Narasimha Rao and Dr. Manmohan Singh with two broad objectives. Number one, to maintain stability in the economy. Number two, to accelerate economic growth in the long run. In other words, new economic reform measures has two broad aspects. Number one, stabilization measures aimed at overcoming short-run problems of the economy and maintain stability in the short run. Number two, structural reforms aimed at accelerating economic growth and maintaining sustained, that is continuous development in the long run. The structural reform measures of long run consist of three components, namely LPG, liberalization, privatization and globalization. Therefore, it is necessary to discuss and understand each component in brief. Now let us start with first component, that is liberalization. Before we are going to discuss various liberalization measures, let us understand the meaning of liberalization. Liberalization means the removal of artificial government restriction on business and industry and facilitating business and industry to run on commercial basis freely. I repeat once again, liberalization means the removal of artificial government restriction on business and industry and facilitating business and industry to run on commercial basis freely. As a part of liberalization, to overcome many artificial government restrictions, especially on industrial licensing, export and import trade, foreign exchange, and to make business and industry more liberal, the Government of India adopted some of the following liberalization measures. They are: number one, liberalization of industrial licensing. Number two, FERA stands for Foreign Exchange Regulation Act of 1973, replaced by FEMA stands for Foreign Exchange Management of Act of 1991. Number 3, MRTP, Monopoly Restrictive Trade Practices Act, replaced by New Competition Bill of 2001. Number 4, adoption of New Trade Policy 2001 and 2007. Number 5, reforms in inflow of foreign capital. These are all the some of the measures, that is liberalization measures undertaken by the Government of India as a part of liberalization process. The second component of the new economic reform measures is privatization. Then what is privatization? Privatization refers to the transferring of ownership and management of public sector to private sector. I repeat once again, privatization refers to the transferring of ownership and management of public sector to private sector. The privatization is known for greater productivity and efficiency. However, the privatization has both merits and demerits. Now let us look at merit part of privatization. Number one, it reduces physical and administrative burden of the government. Number two, it enables the government to concentrate on essential functions only. Number three, it accelerates and encourages economic growth by encouraging more private investment. Number four, it promotes productivity through efficient management. Number 5, it encourages dynamic entrepreneurship. Now let us move towards demerits part of privatization. Number one, it leads to concentration of economic power in the hands of few people. It creates disparity of income and wealth. Number three, promotes distorted output by way of non-priority investment, producing luxurious goods, ignoring the common people's needs. Now let us move the third component of new economic reform measure, that is globalization. Then what is globalization? Globalization means the integration of national economy with world economy by removing all types of restriction on trade and capital movements. I repeat once again, globalization means the integration of national economy with world economy by removing all types of restriction on trade and capital movements. To make Indian economy more global, the following globalization measures were adopted by the government of India. Number one, foreign equity holding limit enhanced by 51%. Number two, foreign investment in high priority industries encouraged through provision of automatic clearance. Number three, abolition of all quantitative restriction on import and export trade. Number four, to offer many incentives to foreign investors to attract the more foreign investment in the country. Number five, Indian companies were allowed to raise their capital through euro and global deposit receipts. Number four, export promotion was encouraged through creation of many SEZs, that is special economic zones. Conclusion: despite the merits and demerits, liberalization, privatization, and globalization measures certainly transferred the Indian economy from inward status to outward status and made the economy globally more competitive. With this, I conclude today's lecture. Thank you.